Welcome to the Super Gamer Podcast. Welcome to the new Super Gamer Podcast, episode 133. Our guest this week is an Xbox ambassador, a writer, a model, a streamer, and a disability rights activist. We have MahatMama. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've played games since you were a kid. You had a PlayStation 1. You loved Crash Bandicoot. You also had a PlayStation 2 and a 4. But is it fair to say that you kind of really embraced gaming, really got back into gaming when you saw it as a way to bond with your kids?
Yes, for sure. There's such a strange culture with being a parent, and you want to be so involved in everything that your kids are doing. But what really sucks is when you're disabled and maybe you can't be out there doing the sports with them. And so I saw gaming as a way to play with my kids in that way. And that's what I've done and still do.
Has there been any pushback from them like, Mom, I don't want to play with you?
No, surprisingly, no. I guess we started playing with them. I mean, they've always grown up around video games. And then whenever mommy started playing, it was fun, you know, and it's really an interactive way to hang out with your kids. So that's what I've done with gaming, and I play with my husband too. It's just how I make my friends now.
And you use games as a teaching device too. How do you do that?
Well, really, whenever we think of games, every time you play a new game, you're learning. So what I did during the pandemic was I incorporated like Minecraft and Sims and things like that into their protocol for like homeschooling. And Animal Crossing helped a lot with budgeting, with money. So it's really just about looking at video games in another way, or just thinking of it as, what can I teach my kid with this tool?
Right. So it's not necessarily, you don't need to go out and buy like number munchers or like games that are meant to be educational. Like you can find education in them.
Exactly, because whenever everything is art, everything is learning, and it's just, what would you like to learn from this game? So I really like the idea of just taking these games that kids are normally going to be playing anyway, and then kind of slyly putting in some lessons in there, and they don't even know it. It's just great.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, do you still check in on Butt World regularly?
My kids are very, very into Butt World. Layla and Lane are still very involved in Butt World. I check in and see what's going on. And so far, I think my favorite thing that we've done with Butt World as far as a lesson was we talked about the different fish and categorizing the fish in Animal Crossing. So I was able to learn about mackerels recently. That's cool.
Who named Butt World?
I think that was a collaboration between all of us. We do love, we think butts are just inherently funny in this household. So, yeah.
So is it scary at all having your kids online? Like, I'm a non-parent, but it seems to me, and I think back to when I was a kid and my parents didn't know, you know, my parents are similar to your age. I'm similar to your age, or you know what I mean? To your parents' age, I'm similar to your age. But I remember them, you know, trying to at least know what I'm doing and blah, blah. And now it's so much more than it was. Like, do you have to be ever vigilant?
Well, I think that now, in my experience as what I am dealing with right now, I'm trying to think of a way to say this. You have to be vigilant, yes. You need to be very involved with what your kids are watching at all times. But do you need to like creep over them? No, not necessarily. You need to be hopefully raising them in a way to where you're doing and learning these climates together. So it is very daunting sometimes whenever they are on camera. I don't really have them on camera much. If you have seen my stream, I've kind of taken them off cam, as far as not even walking through as much. But I do think it's important that they do have technology in their lives, and they're learning and they're growing with it. Because if we keep tech from kids, we're kind of hindering them, in my opinion.
One thing I like is you've written about, and it seems you've taken more of an approach. Like, obviously, like you say, you have to be vigilant, but you're concerned with teaching them, like, don't be a jerk online.
Yeah, like, we're raising the next generation of gamers. So I don't want there to be like a toxic game sphere that is still continuing. I want to change that. And you don't change things by complaining about them. You change them by being a part of it and doing it from the inside. So it's been a really cool experience to see my kids like just learn lessons, like see them actively making the choices that I would. And I'm like, oh, dang, I know I had some part of thing in that. It feels good.
Have you ever been mad at a video game and you sort of had to check yourself because your kids were watching?
Well, probably. I mean, I definitely do rage. But we have a very thing, like, not like a rage thing, like, oh, son of a, but it's always a game. And so I've always been, you've got to remember that you're playing with people. And I kind of take the approach as whenever I'm getting on a team with players in a lobby, I'm teaching my kids like sportsman-like behavior. So I'm pretty good about not raging like that, but I will be like, okay, I got to leave this game. Excuse me.
Can you tell us about what is the Gaming and Families initiative you pitched at your kids' school a year ago, and did it take off?
It is. So I basically went to the PTA LSIC thing, and I was like, hey, I think it would be a really cool idea to have gaming incorporated into some of these family function things that we do for the community. And so far it is still in the progress of happening, but the school is very on board, and I would like to have Xbox, hopefully throwing some things at us to encourage gaming and tech in Appalachia. So it's still going, still a work in progress, but hey, all good things are.
People were receptive to it, though?
They really were. The teachers and the parents were really interested in it. And I was actually surprised because I thought there would be more pushback. But people are starting to see that, hey, maybe we should be encouraging this. And that feels good. So...
What does it mean to be a disability rights activist in the gaming sphere? Like what do you kind of keep front of mind?
What I want to always show is that anybody can game. Like, literally the Ratatouille of gaming, like, anyone can game. And I always want it to be shown that there are people that really do use gaming for their social lives. And while I am disabled, I do not outwardly look disabled. So I like to kind of be able to put it in people's minds and then refer them to actual gaming accessibility journalists that know what they're talking about. So I sort of kind of figure myself to be as a, kind of like I'm making accessibility accessible to everyone else that didn't normally care about it. And that's what needs to happen. So that's what I'm trying.
Is there something you think games often ignore or forget when it comes to being accessible, particularly for people dealing with chronic illness? One thing, I was trying to look this up. I was listening to a podcast called Game Raven Review. And one thing that never crossed my mind, but makes sense, is games without a pause function.
Oh my God, yes. Very much yes, without a pause function. with anything with repetitive hard button mashing. Now, I'm not saying we need to change like fighting games or nothing like that, but there was one game I was playing, and again, I have brain issues sometimes, sorry, but and there sometimes on these cutscenes you have to be really hammering the X or the A, and that can be hard for somebody with arthritis. Is that necessary to have that as a thing in the game, or can that be whenever we talk about easy mode, and sometimes people get upset about that, but I see no problem in making sure that everybody on the planet can play your game. So yeah, that's all I got.
So in a blog post, you've mentioned how video games have helped you with loneliness and, maybe not being able to get out and meet people all the time. But you said that from the outside, it seemed like online gaming is just a space of toxic men, which granted. But as you got more into it, you found all sorts of people gaming, you found friends. Did you kind of have to go out of your way to find people you resonate with, or how did you find your people?
I honestly, I joined the Xbox ambassadors, and I was like, I really like what they're doing. They seem really friendly, and that's the kind of community I want to be in. So I just started getting involved in that community, and that's where I make the majority of my friends. And that's why I am ambassador. So that's just what gaming to me embodied, which was like friendliness and kindness and just general not being a dick, being friend. It's something that is needed, and yeah, that's what I use to make most of my friends in gaming. Is I just find them from Xbox.
You kind of answered this just now, but what does being an Xbox ambassador mean to you?
It means that I need to genuinely not be a dick. Oh God, I hope I don't get in trouble for swearing on that.
No.
From them. No, they're good. They're cool. They, to me, what being an Xbox ambassador means is just showing people what gaming can be, and that to look at it in different ways. And every ambassador is doing it in a different way. And that's the cool thing, is that we're allowed to just do what we do. And yeah, like mine is, I'm a weird mom and I play Xbox games. And I mean, I became an Xbox ambassador because of Game Pass dropping and me being able to afford more games. And I'll just sing that from the praises forever, like from the mountains forever. And that's the truth. So yeah, it just means that I get to tell the truth. That's what.
Yeah, my brother keeps telling me how awesome Game Pass is. He's like, you gotta get it. And I'm like,
Dude, I'm telling you, it'll change your life, because I'll stop there. But
okay.
It really is good, because it can open you up to so many games that you would never have really played because you wouldn't have necessarily bought them. So I got really involved more in the community with it. So yeah, it's totally rad.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you got into Twitch to kind of show a mom gaming, kind of part of your whole like everybody games thing.
Yes.
But in a recent blog post, you say you were a little not sure about returning to Twitch because of all the trolls you get. Is that obviously trolls are a problem online. Do you deal with a lot?
Yes, I deal with them mostly on Twitter and just random accounts that just show up. You're going to get hate everywhere and anywhere. I don't know if I will be staying on Twitch per se. I might be making a switch, but I do know that I am staying as being a weird mom streamer somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will say that post was August 23rd, so almost exactly a month ago, but you have been streaming weekly since then. So
yep, I'm still here, just seeing what I'm going to do next.
One thing I laughed at, you make a lot. I was watching you play Rocket League, and you make a lot of like
Oh my God. I know. I'm like, I was so embarrassed when I streamed me playing Rocket League because I don't know which one you saw, but where I was really like thirsting hard to be friends with this person that I just assumed was a mom. And oh my God, it was so funny.
I actually think I remember that person's online name. I won't say it, but
Yeah, I know. I do too. I'm like, please be my friend wherever you are.
Actually, I mean, this you've kind of hinted at it already, but what you did say on last stream, one thing you said was, "We all know what I think about Twitch." Do you want to elaborate or not?
Well, you know what? It seems to be a good time to talk about it, given what the web was saying about Twitch. Amongst POC, like BIPOC and people of color, we've known about the problems with Twitch for a while, with the algorithm, with the treatment of. So that's been my biggest issue with getting fully into Twitch. So yeah, I mean, I might be switching to YouTube gaming, but I'm nervous because I don't really know how to do any of it. Like, I mean, you've seen my stream, bro. I can barely get online. So I'm like, oh God, can I do this again? But we'll figure it out. So Twitch is an interesting place.
Can you tell me how a Jasmine cosplay turns into a Fred Durst cosplay?
Yes. Okay, so I was doing the the Jasmine whenever she's the slave of Jafar thing in the red outfit, and then it just so happened to be Fred Durst Friday, and somebody requested break stuff, and I had my hat. So you got to give the people what they want.
I see. So it was. I was under the impression that you were like putting on the costume. You were like, wait a minute, I look like Fred Durst. I was like, how does that work?
Oh God, no. Somebody was like, do break stuff, and I was like, you know what? It is Fred Durst Friday. I'm gonna do it, and I just so happened to put on the hat, and with only putting on the red hat, it just transformed the whole thing. So it was beautiful.
You kind of gaming, I believe, kind of got you into modeling recently. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. I was, I started being on the camera on Twitch, and people were saying, "Oh, you're so pretty." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And now I'm modeling, and that works out for me. So I'm happy about it. It really took me by surprise. Especially because I'm a very strange person that doesn't leave my house. So modeling from my home is pretty neat. I love being a content creator. I'm able to fully control absolutely every point of my content. So I'm just kind of following where things go. And if people want to see me model, they can see me model. If they want to see me game, they can see me game. I am what I am.
So it sounds like it's taken off beyond. You got to be in a music video, but you're doing more modeling than that.
Yes. I was able to get, I'm a parade friend now. So a company actually was like, hey, I like you enough. And yeah, so I do that. And yes, the music video was very fun. It's going to drop soon. No spoilers, but it's going to be neat. And I also, I've been able to do my own projects with directing and acting. So it's been incredible. It's just really opened my world more than I thought it could ever be when I'm sick.
And you mentioned that the people creating the music video, they had actually specifically said to you, like, oh, we found you through your gaming.
Yeah, they did. They loved that I was a streamer. And they loved what I was doing and my content and wanted to have me on there. And shout out Dylan and Good Trouble and Nestle. Thank you. And it was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely insane though. So it was cool. And I still am going to treasure that memory for like ever.
Yeah. Gaming opening doors.
I know. It's just like, what whenever people think of gaming, just look at it and what can I do with gaming? You know, it's an art. It really is. So
it is a funny switch because when we were kids, I'm sure you remember, it was nonstop, just like, oh, you know, you're wasting your time gaming. And I mean, I'm not going to say like people should have other interests, obviously, than gaming. But I remember it was just constantly like, you know, you should be outside, you should not be gaming, blah, blah, blah. But look.
Yeah. It's like, look at all the people who are making games, who are making good money making games. And that is the whole thing that I'm trying to bring to Appalachia, man, is like, don't be shitting on it. Why don't we be involved and look at it a little more? Because these are jobs. These are actual jobs that pay, and this is where the future is going. So why would you not want your child to be able to create something? I like it.
Can you tell us, you've mentioned a few times Appalachia, pardon me.
Yeah, Appalachia.
Whoa. Playing Fallout 76, which I know you have, as a West Virginian, you know, what's that like?
Actual tears. I mean, I cried, like, out of just happiness and joy. And yeah, people shit on it, whatever. Fallout 76 was different. But I will say that it was incredible playing it with my kids and showing them the places that they know and where I've grown up, where I've ran around, and seeing Grafton, seeing the Mothman stuff. It was so neat, and it felt like Appalachia was being seen in a good light, actually. Like we had a story to tell, and that felt good. So I loved it, and I'm excited for the new Pittsburgh Fallout. So
yeah, that's got to be a real teaching kind of game for your kids.
It really was. I mean, whenever Fallout 76 dropped, I was like, if you're not using this as a learning tool with your kids, this is a missed opportunity. Because all of us, I mean, us in Appalachia, it meant a lot for us. So why would you not involve your children in learning and exploring? Especially for me, whenever I can't take them out and explore anymore like I used to. So I can do it on a game, though.
Fallout's a funny series to me because I've played basically 3 on. And every single time I'm like, oh, it's so glitchy and like the game freezes on me and the blah, blah, blah. And yet every time one comes out, I'm like, I just love the world. I got to do it. I got to play it.
You got to get in there. That's part of the features of Fallout. And I mean, really, it's a big ass game. When you think of all the things, like all the shit that goes into the dev work, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it runs as smoothly as it does, truly. So, but that's just my opinion of dev work because I hide it. I hold it in such high regard.
If you're willing to talk about it, why doesn't your husband like dragons?
I don't know. I really don't know. And I think it's probably just because, I don't know. It's because he's a white dude who just feels like it's pushed on him too much. I don't know. But he's just never liked dragons. And he's going to have to start, though, because I'm for real going to make him watch all the Lord of the Rings.
So would he play Dungeons and Dragons with you?
He does play Dungeons and Dragons. Oh my God. He's a DM. He is a DM. He's the one that got me into Dungeons and Dragons. He's just not really into the dragons part. He's more of the dungeons.
Right. You've never fought like a gold dragon or whatever.
No, he's never going to put, if he's DMing a game, he's never going to put a dragon in there willingly. I'll tell you that.
Is there, I haven't played 5th edition. Is there like a dragon type, like a dragonborn or something? Like for a player character? Because you should absolutely be one.
I'm always a tiefling. So that's pretty much to me like what a dragon would be. But you know what I should be? I need to look at the new stuff and see what's going on there. Because I should be a damn dragon. I'm gonna be a dragon the next game just for you. And we're actually gonna be streaming it, so you'll get to see.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Will that be on Twitch or YouTube, or you don't know yet?
Don't know. Probably going to be YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
If
This is
you're
actually my huge announcement. I like accidentally. So there you go.
all right, I got exclusive.
Yeah. Got the fresh drop.
If your banana plant was a monster in Dungeons and Dragons or a video game, what game would it be and what would be its power?
It would be it would be any of those plants from I want it to be the Crash Bandicoot plant, truly. The one that eats you. Oh, you love that plant, Lane? Yeah, that's what my banana plant would be. Because she's a baddie. She's not gonna take anything. She's cool. She would eat you if she saw you.
Cool.
Yeah. So she's a Crash Bandicoot plant.
All right. So pretty much winding down here, I guess anything you want people to know about when it comes to gaming or gaming with a chronic illness or what, what it all means to you.
Just look at gaming as a way for people to connect that sometimes don't want to be in sports, or literally sometimes they cannot be. And that is a really, really big deal for anybody who suffers from a disability. It's very isolating. It's very sad. You lose a lot of friends. But if you can just get on a computer or a video game system and play with them, it helps your mental health. So I just want people to understand the importance of gaming for your mental health, I guess.
Right. We've definitely had a guest on before where we talked about how, like, an online friend is a friend. It's an IRL friend, if you will. Like,
Yes, because this is our real life. It doesn't have to be a physical friend, like in person, but this is my real life. Whenever I talk to my friends online, I have that sort of, they are my friends.
well, if people want to check out MahatMama, you can go to thewomanwholived.com. That's your blog. You're also MahatMama on Twitter, on Twitch, and on YouTube as well, which it sounds like there's going to be more coming up. MahatMama, yes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, and you have a good day.